breaking overnight as concerns rise that this was the latest in a string of gang violence, which authorities say could have been averted. A very good morning on this Thursday, May 13th. I'm Ken Rosado. Shirley Malakott's here as well, and we're going to get right into our team coverage of the story. We begin with Eyewitness News reporter Derek Waller live in Bed-Stuy. Derek?
Ken, a dramatic shootout overnight between the cops and what they're calling a known gang member overnight here in Bed-Stuy. Take a look down the block, and you can see that there are police still on the scene here this morning at the intersection of Howard Avenue and Macon Street. Right now, the suspect and a police officer are both in the hospital. And this is the scene shortly before midnight after cops patrolling the area noticed a 26-year-old man they had been trying to find. Once they got out of their unmarked cruiser near Saratoga Park, police say the suspect started shooting. Cops returned fire close to 24 rounds. They shot the suspect in the leg, and he was hospitalized. Charges are now pending. The 28-year-old officer, who's been with the NYPD for just 4 years, was shot 3 times. One of those bullets hit his vest in the back, and you can see right there on your screen just how that vest may have saved this officer's life. Mayor de Blasio and Police Commissioner Dermot Shea spoke overnight.
When you take a look at that vest and you see quickly what the alternatives could be, which is very, very thankful.
But it's quite clear that people who have this level of devotion to their fellow New Yorker are very special people, and thank God they will all be okay.
And here is a picture of the 9mm handgun police say they recovered from the scene. Illegal guns continue to be a major problem here in Brooklyn, and in fact, police say this suspect, whose name they have not yet released, he had an active criminal case against him, was released, waiting on a court date. Certainly some questions about that this morning. That's the latest here in Bed-Stuy. I'm Derek Waller, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Derek, thank you for that. Now let's head over to the scene of that first shooting. Candace McCowan, live in Bushwick, just a few blocks away from Derek, with more on that part of the story. Candace.
Yeah, and certainly we're here at Broadway and Madison. This is where this all supposedly began late last night, when this car that you see here, this white SUV, was actually shot into by who police believe is their suspect as well. Now you can see that car crashed into this elevated subway beam here along Broadway here at Madison. Now this is where it actually hit this pole very hard. Now, this all unfolded around 11:11 last night here on Broadway at Madison. Investigators say there's video showing a man running up to this white BMW SUV and beginning to fire into the car. There were 3 men in that vehicle. One person was not struck. Another was hit by bullets and taken to the hospital. But a third, who was in the back seat, was killed. Now, I spoke to a man earlier this morning who was standing on the corner and witnessed this all unfold.
They walked over to the car and started shooting inside the car. The car pulled off and hit that van. One of the men jumped out of the car and rolled on the ground and ran towards the street. The car crashed into that pole. The driver jumped out and he tried to run. He was hopping on one leg. He fell down. That's what I told him, no, get back in the car.
Yeah, and it sounds like the third man, who was in the back seat, was the one who did not survive. Police say that this was all gang involved. They are familiar with the suspects, who they say currently have open gun possession cases. Investigators expressing their frustration, saying that the courts need to be open and process these men that they have arrested in the past for previous gun cases, who were still on the street. Now, if you come through this area this morning, knowing that this scene is here at Broadway in Madison, know that there are several blocks here along Broadway that are shut down this morning, and traffic will not be able to move through until they actually clear up this crime scene, which they are still processing at this time. Live this morning here in Bushwick, I'm Candace McCowan, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
What a wild story. Thank you for that, Candace.